Nestor, Alfred, welcome to Global Immigration Investment Summit. Would you like to tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Great, thank you, and thank you for having me here. My name is Nestor Alfred, and I'm the Citizenship by Investment CEO for St. Lucia. Of course, my participation in this conference is really another way in which we can showcase St. Lucia and to participate in the meaningful discussion that's now taking place among the various stakeholders. In regard to St. Lucia, this program, the Citizenship by Investment program, is really one of the youngest within the OECS islands. Legislation was enacted somewhere in 2015, and we really started off the business sometime in 2016. There's been some consistent growth. It is not a marked growth, but I think St. Lucia has been very consistent in regard to where it wants to go with this program. And I think there's never the intention that we are going to be seeing thousands of applicants coming through. But what we do focus on is to ensure that the program is of highest quality. And what I mean by highest quality is essentially that the hallmark of the program does rest on ensuring that there is rigorous due diligence process and ensuring that when we grant citizenship, it's granted to persons who have good repute and good character.
Fantastic. So could you give us a brief summary of your program?
The program, like any of the program within the 5 other OECS islands, is the unit is essentially responsible for processing of applications. And of course, if someone is interested in gaining citizenship through this program, one applies. And there is a process that takes place in regard to vetting of this application and making that there's completeness of the application. And the next step is really to determine who those people are and whether those persons are persons who are worthy to be granted citizenship of St. Lucia. And therefore, this process entails the hiring of a third-party due diligence firm to go out there and try to determine who are those persons, where do they live, as some of the documentation that they provided to us as part of the application is really bona fide. And more importantly, as part of the due diligence process, we obtain intelligence information through our law enforcement personnel. And when all of this is gathered, a recommendation is made by the operational side of the program. And then this is forwarded to the board of directors to make the final decision of whether it's to grant, deny, or delete with cause.
Great, thank you for that. So currently, what is the processing time of St. Lucia citizenship?
You know, we say to the market that there is a 90-day period by which, after submitting the application is compliant, which means that the application is complete. We say thereafter, within 90 days, you should be granted citizenship. But the reality of it does not always happen. It does not always happen simply because of the intelligence element of the due diligence process.
Right.
Unlike the third-party due diligence firms, we can say we would like to get a feedback within 2 weeks. With law enforcement intelligence, we can't set a time frame. So unfortunately, there are times that for the grant of citizenship, it would go beyond 90 days.
Right, okay. And we've seen a lot of changes recently with the Caribbean Citizenship Program. What's your take on this?
Well, look, the changes have been mostly within the pricing structure of the program. The program, as you would know, within the 5 islands are very competitive. And unfortunately, the competitive edge that the islands would utilize is adjusting the pricing. What do I think about this? I'm a firm believer that pricing may not necessarily be the most competitive tool on which we can compete on, but it's what it is. In regard to St. Lucia, we did make some changes in our pricing as well. And in recent times, we are going to be making some changes as a means of making the program a lot more workable for our citizens.
Okay.
Or potential citizens, I should say.
Right. And so a solution might be the heads of citizenship units to have a common ground. Do you see that happening soon?
You know, the region have not been very good in coming together and taking positions. However, the region has proven to the world that it can come together, and I speak specifically in regard to the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States organization, where the OAS Islands are all now under group under one banner. There's free movement of labor and capital, and I would love to see the time where the Citizenship by Investment program can have some kind of collaboration in a greater way than it now has. And I believe, I know it's going to take some time. I strongly suspect that it may have to come into being a lot quicker than we expect, simply because there are some fundamental issues that we now have to deal with. And I don't believe that those issues can be dealt with in small units or Grenada, St. Lucia, Dominica. I think those units can be more effectively dealt with if we all came together as one.
Great. Mr. Alfred, thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you so very much for this interview. Great.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, same here too.